Hi, this is Helly and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This year I have decided that I'm going to read 150 books and I'm going to document my journey. So those of you who are OG Helly fans from 7-8 years back, you are in for a ride, babies. I have lost touch with reading. I have lost the connection I had with reading for the last 2 years because I was so busy working with clients. I barely read like 30-40 books maybe last year and the year before. Now for a non-reader that might be a lot, but for those who know Helly, the real me, you know that I used to read like 80 to 100 books in a year. So going from there to here, it was a bad journey. And I decided that this year I'm going to give myself a sweet challenge and I'm going to document it super publicly so that I'm actually able to do it. So I want to read 150 books this year and I'm making great progress. Goodreads says that I am on track with my schedule. To read 150 books a year, you technically need to read about 12 books each and every month. And while that sounds really hard, I usually pick up books that are like 200 pages long on an average, at most 300 pages long. So let's take 200 as the average. It means that almost every day I need to read like 80 to 90 pages. It takes me about 1 hour and 20 minutes to finish this many pages if the language is hard, and it takes me about 40 minutes if the language is easy, because I've been reading for many years. I have mastered many styles of reading, so depending on the quality of the book, I change my reading styles. I'm gonna make some videos teaching you how to read faster if this is also your goal. So if you want that, please leave a comment below saying speed reading. But I need to basically read about 80 pages every day. I can also make up for the weeks, because in weeks I am working for clients. It gets really busy, by reading a whole day over a weekend, which is something that I used to do. I used to finish reading like 3-4 books in a single day, and it used to be such a lovely ride. So I'm excited to do that. And I wanted to share my progress with you. Here are some of the books that I have read so far this year, and I hope that you are going to like my recommendations. The first one being A Night with a Black Spider. This is a book translated from Tamil, and it's a collection of a lot of short stories. Some of them are scandalizing, some of them are gonna make you think, and some of them, and actually most of them are going to make you really happy that you actually picked up this book. If you speak Tamil or you can read Tamil, you can probably read the original. But I'm Bengali, so I have no clue. I picked this book up at the local bookstore just because I really liked the title. There was no other context to it. I'd never heard about it. But I'm glad I did, because it turned out to be a really great read. I actually read it while I was traveling. I started reading it while I was traveling and on my way to meet a girlfriend, and almost finished it. So highly recommend you read it as well. And I guess that is one of the ways in which you can increase the amount of books you read in a year, by making sure that you're consciously carrying a book with you no matter where you go. Next up, there's this book by Ismail Kadare. I decided that I want to read books from a lot of countries this year, consciously pick up books from various countries. And in that process, I came across some beautiful literature. One of the books that I finished was The Doll by Ismail Kadare. Something interesting about Ismail Kadare is that he was the first recipient of the Man Booker International Prize, and his most popular book is called Broken April. However, I picked up his latest work called The Doll. The most beautiful thing about this book is that throughout this book that you read, it's his mother he's talking about, that he's referring to as the doll. But when you finish the book, you realize that there's a metaphor throughout this book, and it makes you feel like you want to reread this book so that you can absorb the entire essence of it. Such beautiful writing style, such beautiful way to put things into words. I don't think that there's a lot of writers who can do that, and this was definitely a writer I really enjoy reading. He is from Albania, so the book is set in Albania. The next book I read was Interrogation by Sunil Gangopadhyay. It was a very short book which follows the interrogation of a woman who was trafficked, and what is truth, what is not truth. It's like a thriller. If you can read Bengali, you should read it in Bengali. As you guys know that I prefer reading translations usually because I read faster that way. But this was a pretty good read. He's a very popular Bengali author. A lot of Bengali readers have read a lot of his books. But outside Bengali, he's not that popular. So I hope that my channel can serve the purpose of making him more popular. Next up, there's Kunti by Koral Das Gupta. You guys know that I love mythology. I have talked about mythology for years now, and I love feminist takes. I like reading books about mythological character from a more modernist angle, so this is one of those books. If you are interested in such books, you can go for it. All these books are, by the way, very easy to read. You will be able to enjoy it no matter what kind of reading style you have. Let's go to some other Asian countries. There is Miyoko Kawakami. This is a Japanese novel which is about a woman who meets a man, and she meets an old friend, and she meets a co-worker, and that's pretty much all the people she meets in this novel. This novel is actually not that complex. It's a simple woman and a simple life, but the way she hesitates, the way she's always so scared to take a new step, that can feel very relatable to some people. And I think at some point of time we have all gone through that feeling, right, of not being able to do what we want, not being able to pursue what we really want to. And this book really explores that feeling. Some of the lines in this book are absolutely beautiful, and I think I like books with beautiful poetic lines, so it's always a win-win for me. These two books are also by Miyoko Kawakami, Heaven and Breast and Eggs. Breast and Eggs being the most popular one, but I have read Heaven and I really did like it as well. Next up, there is Bake Sahi's I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki, which explores a conversation that she has, or conversations she has, with her therapist, her psychiatrist. This book has a very explorative writing style, and if you have struggled with any mental health issues at any point, you are going to love it. But if not, you might not find it very relatable. So it really depends who's gonna like it or not. I recommend, if you are thinking of giving this a read, just read an excerpt or read a little bit of it at a bookstore and then decide whether you want to purchase it or not. But I do recommend purchasing it. It's a very beautiful book, and I have bonus points for the hardback. So the last two books I was recommending was Artist of Disappearance by Anita Desai. I particularly like Anita Desai's writing much more than her daughter Kiran Desai's. I loved reading In Custody, Fasting Feasting when I was a little younger, so I wanted to read her books again. This book has three novellas, and the best one is the middle one. It's called The Translator Translated, which is about a woman who is a translator. She wanted to make it big in life, she couldn't, so she now works as a translator for somebody, but she really wants to make a difference. And the way psyche works throughout all these novels, not just this one, it's beautiful. So I like this. I like the first two stories a lot. In fact, the titular story I didn't like that much, so it's alright. And lastly, there's Whereabouts by Jhumpa Lahiri. So beautiful, such a poignant book. The language is so poetic. I don't think I have loved any writer's writing style as much as I've loved hers. So I highly recommend that you read her books. There's Interpreter of Maladies, there's The Namesake, which is the most popular book by Jhumpa Lahiri. I think I've already recommended that. But yeah, these are all the books I want you to read. I hope that you found it fun. I hope that with all this momentum, I'm gonna be able to finish reading 150 books this year. My Goodreads link will be in the description in case you want to follow my reading journey. Links to all these books will be in the description. And yeah, I hope that you had fun watching this video. Till my next video. Bye bye.